Hello, everyone. My name is Todd Vaughn. I'm the Communications and Community Engagement Coordinator here at the City of Lacombe. I'm joined by Scott Cameron of Bassa Innovations. Scott here was the lead contractor for our social needs assessment and priorities survey that we're taking over the last few months, particularly over the summer months. Scott, thanks for coming on and talking about this significant project for the city here. Recently, the council just approved phase 2 of this project, which is obviously very exciting news for the city. But before we roll into that, do you just maybe want to give us a brief summary of phase 1 of the project?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Todd. Great to be back here in Lacombe. So the project was really broken into 2 phases, as you alluded. Phase 1 was really establishing what are the priorities. The first one was community action on mental health and addictions. The second being community support for families. The third being getting around and community access. So that's both sort of that physical access as well as sort of access to programs and services. And then the fourth was healthy homes and neighborhoods.
So moving to phase 2, I imagine a lot of this is finding ways to reach these priorities, I would guess.
Well, that was certainly part of it. The first part of phase 2 was a validation process. We wanted to take those 4 themes out into the community. And so we did a survey throughout the summer, went to things like music in the park, and just asked folks, like, if these have been identified as 4 priorities, how well do they resonate with you? And the results from the validation survey showed a high level of agreement on all 4 priorities.
Absolutely. With projects like this, you don't want them to be just an historical artifact. You want them to be organic and working. How does the city and social organizations Lacombe take this forward into the future?
Yeah, so the next part after the validation survey was a community conference. So we actually sat down with community members and said, so what? If these are a priority, what are we going to do about them? And I think a couple things are true. First of all, as a municipality, while you do have a role, you don't have the role. And in some situations, you don't have much of a role. It's maybe another level of government, or it's somebody else that is in a better position to move the needle on some of these. So part of it was understanding, how do we develop some strategies, but also then whose strategies are they?
Absolutely. So what I'm kind of hearing from you is there's direct impact that you can have in some areas, but some of this is going to be being able to provide people with resources and also advocating for other levels of government, other groups across Canada to help people here in Lacombe, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely. And sometimes one of the best roles for a municipality on some of these topics is to just convene and coordinate the community resources. And I think that was abundantly clear in this community, that this community comes together. They support one another. It's part of a narrative about Lacombe. And so one of the big, the broad sweeping themes that emerged in terms of what to do about it was affirming the community aspirations, that while Lacombe has a high quality of life and are proud of that high quality of life, we heard from people that isn't always the case for everyone. So rather than sort of think that everybody is enjoying the same level of well-being, how do we work together as a community to affirm that positive narrative?
Yeah. Moving forward, I know this kind of hypothetical, so it's hard to say, but how does Lacombe reach milestones within this? Like, how do you judge success of this document going forward?
I think one of the things that Lacombe has going for it, and that we try to do as we're working on projects, is create the conditions for the community to understand what needs to be done and see themselves within the solution. So in the early stages, I think there's room for more conversation. Some of these are quicker wins that can be done by groups and organizations. They might need a bit of support from the municipality to help make that happen, but others are going to be some of those longer term strategies.
We appreciate you coming on, Scott, and talking more about this project, and we look forward to seeing the success of it coming in the near future.
Great.
Awesome.
Thanks, Todd.
Cheers.